I stood up, I spoke up, I spoke out, and I got arrested.
Georgia Congressman John Lewis is the icon of the civil rights era, just one of them. He was beaten during the voting rights march of Selma to Montgomery, considered one of the Big Six. He helped organize that march as a young man, and now he says he's being attacked by Donald Trump because he spoke out against the president-elect.
Lewis says he's now boycotting Trump's inauguration, and now more Democratic congressmen are following suit. Kristen Holmes is in Washington with much more.
Americans around the country are celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. and advancements in civil rights today.
Activism has to be an everyday choice that you make.
Vice President-elect Pence visiting the MLK Memorial in Washington. But as the inauguration looms, political and race relations remain uneasy, fueled by the president-elect's feud with civil rights icon Representative John Lewis over the weekend. The two apparently avoiding the spat today. Lewis, who helped organize the 1963 March on Washington with King, speaking at the MLK Scholarship Breakfast.
Stay away from violence. Never hate.
And Donald Trump, after tweeting people should celebrate King and, quote, honor him for being the great man he was, met with Martin Luther King III, who didn't take sides in the controversy.
Things get said on both sides in the heat of emotion. And at some point, this nation, we've got to move forward.
The back and forth started with comments Lewis made on NBC's Meet the Press about the Russian hacks during the presidential campaign.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
And saying that he wouldn't attend the inauguration. Trump responding on one of his favorite platforms, Twitter, writing Lewis is all talk, 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 no action or results. Sad. Meanwhile, the number of Democratic members of Congress boycotting Donald Trump's inauguration is now more than 24. Kristen Holmes, CBS 42 News.
Now, also during that Meet the Press interview, Congressman Lewis mentioned that he would never invite President-elect Trump to.
Donald Trump came to you and said, you know, I want forgiveness here. I want your trust, or I want your, you know, would you take him to Selma?
Well, by going to Selma, like President Bush, President Clinton, President Obama, maybe he would learn something. Maybe he would get religion.
So you would bring him. You would do that for him if he asked.
Well, I would not invite him to come.
You wouldn't invite him. But if he asked to come, would you let him?
I wouldn't try to do anything to prevent him from coming.
A commemoration of the Selma to Montgomery March will be held the first weekend in March.